Second race on the card, guys. We're going to get into the action. Just a reminder about our social media. If you haven't gone to Twitter, have a look at our Twitter account. The information's up there for you. At Weighted to Win is our handle, and on the WhatsApp as well. So you may use that. Second race does start by pots, and I can tell you that there's an 8 to 10 favourite in the form of Raffles, who does look pretty hard to beat. Darren thought that may well be one of the earlier strikes of the day.
Definitely, Clyde. He comes in your best weighted. Have a look at his penultimate start. He ran 4 lengths off Jimmy Don. Now, Aravadicchio ran 2 lengths off Jimmy Don, but he's 6 kilos worse off with Raffles. So on paper, Raffles should win race 2 quite comfortably.
Should win race 2 quite comfortably. I agree with that, Mr. Marie.
Nothing more to add, Clyde. Just have a look at the best weighted column. He comes in joint best weighted with Juliet Tango. Now, she's off form currently. I think she'll run an improved race, but can I see her beating Raffles? No. Can Aravadicho confirm that form with Raffles despite the turnaround in weights? I don't believe so. So yes, Raffles a good thing. The tongue tie gets fitted for the first time. Everything in his favour. I expect him to come home lonely.
Expecting to come home lonely. The Form 9 doesn't worry you, because I think maybe the fact that nothing's come to win, because a lot have run from Unzen, nothing's arrived, but maybe it's a case of, well, what he takes on now, he's got them all cold anyway, so he should win.
We've just given you confidence, Clyde.
Okay, I'm just asking those because they are the Form 9 followers, and they would have doubt because there's nothing out of there. They're all cross. You know, Frankie Zaki's gone like this, cross, can't win, cross, can't win.
Frankie's busy with Biltong and Meniga. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is what he says. The boys, Daryl Marie and Darren Burrows, put your heads down. But by pots, we're bankering Raffles by 1, 2, 4, and 6. I know we've got a couple of bipots. Darren Burrows has got a bipot and Daryl Marie's got a bipot, so they're 2. And so banker 5 here for Darren, banker 3 later. And for Mr. Burrows, he wants to spend, well, not that he will, he spends much more, but 48 Rand for those of you that like to spend a limited amount for 10%. Mr. Marie's done the same. He's also bankered 5 here. And in terms of the rest of his bipot, he's looked for a bit of cover. And in his case, you can spend 40 Rand for 10%. Maidens over the mile now, and in this particular event, just have a look at the market, give you an idea. Impersonation from a stable that's been ticking over really, really nicely. Lucky Hoodalakis, 5 to 2 favourite. Second choice is 4 Efficient Trader. Sean Terry's been in pretty good form, and they're at 28 to 10. And Island Beauty's at 28 to 10 for Brett Crawford, Brett and James. 5 bar those 3, but it has an open look to it, Darren.
It is open, Clyde. These form lines aren't outstanding, so you got to include Island Beauty. Now, on that run to Be In My Bonnet, she holds Efficient Trader by 5 lengths. I'd give them both chances because Efficient Trader improved with the blinkers on. Impersonation, 3 fair efforts to date. And Ladies Ultimate with Pierre Stradham, good run with the blinkers. So 1, 2, 4, and 6 should be enough.
Okay, it should be enough to get through. Do we need that many for the PAs? Or
Sure. I don't like this lineup, Clyde. Ladies Alternate and obviously Efficient Trader improved with the blinkers. Island Beauty, so well bred, but in very disappointing to date. Clyde, I don't know what to say. Impersonation, we've seen that form line being franked with Memorial Day and Red Maple. Luck in running will determine the outcome in this event. I put in 2 horses into the first leg of the PA. It is a costly perm. Take a percentage.
Well, in the case of Island Beauty, ran behind Cape Lights, and from there came that horse Follow the Flow. That form's also worked out. So there are a few. But what do you do in the PA? How many can you rely on is the question. And the place accumulator perm that's been posted, it looks like this. We're starting with Daryl, and Daryl's got a 2 and 6 by 289, by 1239, by Banker 3 in his PA, 269, by 1 and 2, by 1, 3, 7 and 12. Let's move on now. We'll have a look at our next race on the card. Take a look at the betting for you guys. Race number 4, that's where we are at the moment. If you just joined us, welcome to Waiter to Win. It's lovely to have you with us. 9 Cape Lights is top of the boards at 28 to 10 to win. Robbie Sage, Robbie has select a few that they run, and when they do, they're right there. Caden Brewer's got the ride for him. The Crawford combination and conditional love, number 5 in the card, 4 to 1 second choice. And Steve Pettigrew's got number 7, Queen of Smoke, in here at 4 to 1. They're betting 9 to 2 about the others, 9 to 2 being that horse Tulip Tree. There are a couple, I think, that are pertinent that you've got to put into the play. The guys will tell you you're probably going to need much more. But Darren, let's start with you. Your first choice, my friend.
Well, Clyde, just touching on the pick 6 perm, it is a big perm. So a 10% will cost 540, but take 1% for 54 Rand. You're going to get a good return. Race 4, Cape Lights. This filly won really well last time out, and she's only got 52.5 to shoulder. She should be competitive. The Pettigrew runners, Queen of Smoke, got some nice form lines behind her name. Up in trip, let's see how she goes. Tulip Tree will be very competitive off a handy galloping weight. And of the rest, Crimson Princess and Unconditional Love. So 3, 5, 7, 8, and 9 in no particular order.
Okay, there are a few, and you heard the pick 6 from Darren's side. He'd like to catch one. Not an easy one, it's costly, so his advice is take a percentage, a small percentage.
Sure, this is tricky, Clyde. Cape Lights now, she's into a handicap now. No weight to shoulder. She could certainly build on what she's shown today, Clyde. Tulip Tree interests me a lot. Last time out, she was out at the weights. She enjoys this inside track. I think both her victories have come on this track. We saw Give Me a Light frank that for me, and back in a handicap, I think she cannot be ignored. Even a filly like Eternity Ring, have a look. She's got 61 to shoulder. That's a hefty weight, Clyde. But last time out, I don't think she was suited by the yielding conditions. Penultimate start, Clyde, she gave a very consistent filly, Wakanda, I think 5.5 kilograms. Have a look, this filly ran in the Oaks as a 3-year-old. She's now been stepped up to a mile. I think she's looking for this distance, and if she pushes forward, I can see her running into the money. She does come with her problems, though.
Yeah, I know we liked Tulip Tree before. So, okay, there's a few. It's not easy, guys. Sorry, I don't know how much of help there can be in a race like this, but it's tough. Here's a look at what Darren Burrows is doing. He did say earlier that he is recommending that you go wide. You can see this is what the day looks like. Have a look. It's that competitive. And of course, he's hoping that the one right at the back lands for him in terms of the pick 6. And if it does, he can catch some of that 10%. In as far as that bet is concerned. The last one being number 1, Stormy Seas. Good to see Fabian Habib having a few winners again. They've been in good form. They've got a horse here top of the boards at 9 to 2 called Little Prince, number 3 on the card. Those that have been watching the Twitter and the WhatsApp group as well, there's some information about what exotics and all of that sort of stuff that we intend on taking. But it's not to say that it's all overs bar the shouting, because it's 9 to 2 the field. And from Daryl and Darren's perspective, I know that they also find the race to be open. You just have to have a look at the jackpots and big sixes, and you'll see how many runnies they've gone. So back to you, Mr. Burrows. Let's talk about a horse that interests me, this horse Lady Calavera, who's come back and just loves the winner's box.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see a horse have a year off the track and then come back with a bang and win 2 in a row as a 5-year-old mare. You don't see that often, but she's done absolutely nothing wrong, and you have to give her a chance. Little Prince, now have a look at that last form line. If I'm not mistaken, there's been 2 runners and 2 winners behind Absolute Value. This horse on that form line alone, and the fact that he's back to best, he's got to have a serious chance because he's achieved a much higher mark in the past. Tony Peters' runner with Piers Stratham up, Napoleon, brings a Western Cape form into the race. And I mean, 1.5 lengths in a Morare, 2.5 lengths Le Morne, that's good enough to feature strongly here if overcoming the draw.
It's interesting. Couple of things. The Little Prince, there were two horses that came out of one from there you mentioned.
Celestial City and King of Rome.
Yeah, and Celestial City, not too bad by the looks of things now.
Yes.
And Tony's, these Cape Town horses that are coming to Tony, they seem to be, romping. I mean,
Yeah,
look what
can I have
Orson Kerr did the other day.
Can I have his work cut out from a 16 draw, but he's got the master in the iron, so I'm not ruling him out.
Yeah.
Just based on his latest form line, Clyde, Little Prince must be a massive, massive run of year.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that the stables found form, Fabian, coupled with the fact that he's won both of his races on the inside track. So I think he's going to be the horse to beat. Just let me touch on the pace of your Clyde. I think the pace is certainly going to be on Lady Cat, Calavera, Pascal Samore, and Indus Knight can all push forward. So I think the pace is going to be genuine. Indus Knight, I'm not ruling him out. He's going to be my second pick. You can see in his penultimate start, he actually gave Ava the Prophet some weight and his excuses on that occasion. If he sees out the trip, I can see him fighting at the finish. Interesting to see the booking on forward spell, Keegan DeMello. If he's not in need of another outing, he could. I think we haven't seen the best of him yet, Clyde. So I think he has to go into all perms. And then Oyster King, 3 consistent runs since returning from a layoff. How can you leave him out? So tricky, Clyde, but Little Prince, I think, is the horse to beat.
Little Prince in form, coupled with a tote that Martin's back in the play. Let's take a look at what we're doing here now, and this is the Daryl Marie jackpot. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9 by 1 and 3 by 2, 3, 6, 9 by 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Welcome back. Good to have you with us. Race 6 is a novice handicap. Take a look over 1450 meters of the race as to what we want to do over here. And let me go to the market quickly. I haven't had a look at it, so I'll just put it up for you now. We roll over Red Rover is top of the board to 2-1. David Nevenazen also. The guys are in and out, but at the moment he's on an up, David. So roll over Red Rover 2-1. Golden Prospect is 3-1. That's number 1. And then you've got 5-1 and better about the others. Talk to me about the race, Mr. Burrows. The 6, it is a handicap. Novice handicap, so these horses have only had 1 win in their career, and they're trying their very best to get their second.
Clyde, roll over Red Rover interests me because this horse won at 100-1 in his second start, beating Brave Viking, who's come out to win. Second last time out, I labelled Celtic Rumours as the best bet on the card, and she cruised past roll over Red Rover, and at the finish he was gaining on her again. He gets 2.5 kilos off his back, so 54 kilos. And the main danger could be Golden Prospect, but he has been costly to follow of late. That third in the Tony Ruffle behind Royal Victory stands out of his late form. He's got to be competitive if bouncing back. And then the lightweight Future Wolf I wouldn't ignore.
Yeah, I think that the run to Celtic Rumours, whom you remember we labelled, we said it'll win at over 12. It went to the 14, it won impressively. And to get the better of Roll over Red Rover the way it did, I think was good enough. But there's nothing wrong with the run from Roll over Red Rover in that company and seemed to be gaining at the end.
Yes.
Although Celtic was on, he took a bit of a hold at the end. But this horse was running on quite strongly.
Yeah, Clyde, I find his latest start very interesting because when he won his debut, went to the head of the fairs and he was never in doubt. Well, he was in doubt going through the 400, but at the finish he was extending. He showed a lot of pace on that occasion. Then last time out, he seemed lost between the 600 and the 400. He was certainly doing his best work late.
He was hanging out very badly.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a flat spot or if it was just
No,
because
just
he was
green.
under the lights.
We're doing this.
Under the lights.
Maybe.
Clyde, he actually achieved the 82 on that occasion. So he comes into this race 4 pounds or 2 kilograms well in because the weight were published by the time this race ran and he couldn't pick up that penalty because he only ran a place and he didn't win. He's
So
getting
explain that to the public now. You will not occur the penalty because your race because the weights have already been published.
Unless you win.
Unless you win.
Okay, so he did run to an 82. So he's well in based on that effort. Clyde, can Golden Prospect give him 6 kilograms and a beating? I'm not entirely sure of that. But one thing's for certain, Golden Prospect has come down, I think, 5 pounds. He's down to a 91. He's now into a handicap. And have a look, Gavin Lorena's only sat on his back once. And that was his debut effort, and he was very impressive on that occasion. I think this race will certainly be dominated by the two of them. I'm heavily in their camp. The 1 and the 3, I'm not looking past them.
Yeah, well, Sean Terry, thought he was good enough to compete at least in the Guineas from that last start. But by the sounds of things, it's sounding more and more to me like it's horse rolled over Red Rover. Here we go. Let's put this up into the play for the guys. Just a reminder, we are on the inside track this time, not on the stand side. So there's Darren Burrows' jackpot. Again, he'll be depending on the one right at the back in the last race. Stormy Seas, who at the time of recording on Wednesday morning was 7-2. Race number 7, let's get on to the action now. We have turffontein on the inside track over here. This is a handicap at the 72 level. It's run over the 1450 metres. I'll go straight to Darren Burrows to get an idea as to what he likes for this race. We have obviously seen what his jackpot looks, but that horse Iron Tail comes back in.
I like him, Clyde. Pity about the draw of 10, but I'm not sure what the tactics are going to be. Always comes from a long way back, but in his penultimate start, he was actually in contention when he won and the race was taken away from him. I know the speed's going to be on, but I'm hoping that he's put in the race early. He'll be running on very strongly. Run for cover, you can expect big improvement from. This horse has ability. I remember when he won his maiden, they said this horse is working with some of the best in the stable, and he hasn't quite produced. He's down to a 78. The Crawford runners, Sage King and Robert Burns, both have chances. There are others in the race with chances too.
Irontail's got his jockey back on now. Marco van Rensburg's back in. We saw him win with William Robertson. I believe William Robertson's running again on Saturday.
Yes, he is.
Win again. It'll win
it?
again. Yes.
Sure.
It'll win again, I'm telling you.
Okay, thank you.
That was a grass gallop on Saturday or Sunday, just in case you thought it was tuned to the second. Win again, eh?
Great stuff. Thank you,
Don't
Clyde.
forget that. Right, thank you.
Iron Tail, I don't study his form, Clyde. I study him going down to the start.
Yeah.
So I ignore his form, see how he moves down to the start. He's had 3 close runs together. Make up your mind thereafter. Run for cover has to improve. You can see his ratings down to 78, and he should get the run of the race. Coming in hot, Clyde, this horse is better around a bend. He will show marked improvements on his later starts. And Farney's horses, Clyde, watch them. They're starting to tick now. Number 9, Follow My Path, Clyde. This horse has won both his races over a mile with blinkers. He's been beaten once he goes further than a mile with blinkers. So I'm actually very keen to see how he goes coming back in trip with those blinkers. I'm going to tip him second behind coming in hot. So 6 and 9 for me. Thereafter 2 and 3.
Interesting, because Nathan Klink rides him now. Ryan Munger takes the ride for the horse that Darren likes, number 2, Run for Cover. Let's have a look. It is the running of race number 7. We've got 3 more to go, 7, 8, 9. And here's Darryl's exacta. He's going 2, 3, 6 and 9. Malek is a horse that runs here. That's 5-2 favourite, number 5 on the card for the stable from Roy Magna and Raymond Danielson. Markets, what are the guys doing here? 5-2. Turpitz is 33-10, second choice, number 8. And Clarkson, number 6, is currently at 9-2. Always seems to run an honest sort of race. Maybe even a horse like Kotinos might have a bit of a say. Mr. Burrows, I don't know what you thought. What have you worked out?
Well, Melek, last time out we did label. I thought he could have won better. I know he beat Meteoric 3 parts of a length. He was pushed hard, but he's only had the 3 starts, and he looks a progressive sort. Of the rest, Cabinet Shuffle with the weight allowance off his back. He's been running in some top company. Bard of Avon, very capable on his day, very costly to follow of late. Clarkson, Kotinos, and Turpitz can't be ignored. So I made it tricky.
Yeah, there are quite a few in this particular event, I think, that have to go into the plays. We've seen these horses take each other on before. So what have you put down to black and white?
Yeah, £8 for his latest win, Melech. I'm not saying he's not capable, but...
Which horse, sorry?
Melech.
Melech,
£8
yeah?
for beating Meteoric, hard ridden, like Darren touched on.
Too
I'm
much.
playing to beat him, Clyde. I think he's far too short in the market. This is a very, very competitive lineup. I mean, have a look at the horses. Cabinet Shuffle is run against Savannah Storm in the Wolf Power.
Yeah.
He now comes back. I thought that was a very, very gutsy one, Clyde, because in his penultimate start, Meridius was cantering behind him, and he just found extra. So I know he's got a hefty weight to shoulder, but he certainly earned his rating.
Didn't Laguna Verde come from there also?
Yeah, he's had his problems in the past, but Clyde, you can't fault him recently. He's obviously in a good space and he's improving with racing.
Okay, so Cabinet Shuffle you like. What else?
My top pick is Bard of Avon. Very costly to follow in the past, but I think this is his ideal track and trip now, Clyde. Last time out, came out to win from that form line. Under Your Spell. He's got enough pace to get into a great spot from a 2-draw. So at the current odds, I'm taking on Melech.
Okay. So that'll have to go into the play, Bard of Avon, because to be in the company of Under Your Spell and Humdinger's come well now, Dice, they are good horses, those. So there are a few. Let's take a look. This is the plan. It's the 8th race on the card. Daryl's going 2 runners. In his opinion, he'd like to invest in both 1 Cabinet Shuffle and 2 Bard of Avon in the swinger. So the 9th race on the card, it's over 1,000 metres, and here we got Letitia's Angel top of the boards, 22-10 for Ash Fortune and Ryan Munger. They're, I'm sure, looking to win the last race, but they've got Darren Burrows' horse to beat. Stormy Seas, that Roy Magnan and Dennis Schwarz. Dennis Schwarz has been booting them home one by one, and they do tend to do so, the riders. A little bit of confidence, they get a chance. When you ride confidently, you often make less errors, and that does appear to be the case with Dennis. So Stormy Seas will be rooting this one home for you, Darren.
Yes, Clyde. Before scratchings came out, I labelled this horse South Boy. And when he was scratched, I pretty much went from South Boy to Stormy Seas, because South Boy did run a length behind Stormy Seas and he was 1.5 kilos better off. So now that he's out, Stormy Seas, obviously a tricky draw of 10, but I was impressed with his last victory. And when I studied the strength of this race, I thought he can follow up.
Okay, this depends on how you rate Letitia's Angel.
Yeah, she's as consistent as they get, Clyde. Now
but she
that
got
she's
beat
getting
by
older,
Lollapalooza, right? I mean,
yeah, now that she's getting
and
older,
Stormy Seas, how would they end up?
Yeah, Clyde, it's not as easy as that, though.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm just concerned about the 1,000 meters for her. I think in my mind, I think she's slightly better over the 6 furlongs. I think Dark Tide, his latest 3 starts, he's had excuses in each and every one of those runs, Clyde. He's got 53 from a very good draw on the inside track. I think this race is tailor-made for him. I expect him to be in the money. And there she goes. Now this filly, Clyde, she's in cracking form, number 3 currently. No fault of Wesley last time out. He came around the Rosetta Mill corner, 6 wide.
Yeah.
He just got pushed out. He couldn't get into a position. He dropped her out, and she quickened extremely well. So I think that draw is actually in her favour, because she likes to be given a chance, hidden away, and come very late.
Did the same at Maritzburg. Couldn't get a run. Remember,
Yes,
for a long time. Eventually,
and she was actually cruising 400 from home. So I don't think the 1,000 meters is going to be a problem.
There's ability there. But can she beat Stormy Seas?
I'll tell you at 4.49.
See, also winning money. When they win money, you start getting cheeky. When you start winning cash, all of a sudden your confidence also builds up, just so that you know.
Yes.
If you're wondering why he's retaliating like this. Okay, so you're not, all right, so you're not Stormy Seas?
No, I like him, but I don't think it's cut and dry.
Okay. Well, then on that basis, let's find out what the story is in the last race here today at Turffontein. Remember, we did do this on Wednesday morning, so things change. It's Darren Burrows' Stormy Seas.